Hello everyone, that Manga Kid here to give my full series review of Ron in the Grey World. This is by Aki Irie. It is a Viz release in the Viz Signature editions with nice French flaps and overall a nice quality release. It is 7 volumes in total, with the 7th volume, as you can see, being quite a bit thicker than the other ones. This is a really, really good series. I don't normally read like fantasy kind of stuff, but this is so well done. And as you can see by the covers, the art is phenomenal. Our main character is Ron, who is on all of the covers. She is, despite what you see on the covers, she is actually like an 8-year-old girl. She is I don't think they call them witches. They're like sorceresses or sorcerers or something. I'm not sure. But she basically, her family has magic powers. Her mother is extremely powerful. Her father is also extremely powerful. She has an older brother as well, and she is in training. She, for whatever reason, I guess as most kids do, can't wait to grow up and be older and be, pretty and in charge of her life and whatever. So she has these magic running shoes that when she puts them on, she becomes about 16 or 17 years old. As you see on the covers, she grows up. And so she tends to get into a lot of trouble by putting on these shoes and then, trying to live out in the world as an older person than she actually is. She meets a man who seems to be very rich and kind of mysterious, and he immediately falls in love with her, of course, not knowing that she's a child. He just sees her as this, gorgeous young lady and wants to be with her, and she of course falls in love with him even though she is a child, but she's kind of enamored with him. And so that's kind of how it starts, and it's that aspect of it I think turned a few people off of this series, but I do urge you to continue. This is really at the heart of it, a story of a child who wants to grow up and kind of learns the hard way that growing up is not just being visibly older. It is maturing. It is taking the time to learn about the world and learn about your place in it and learn how to interact with people in a way that is not as a child. She learns that you can't just, putting on these shoes doesn't make her an adult. It doesn't make her any older than she is. It may make her look like she's older, but she isn't actually older. And, there's a friend of hers, a boy from her school, who kind of finds out her secret, and he's obviously in love with her. But, I think it really does focus on learning to appreciate where you are now, as opposed to looking at the future as if it's some mystical place that is going to be so much better than your current life. You need to make your life better. You can't just, magically enhance your existence by skipping a whole period of time. Enjoy your childhood as you have it. Enjoy the present moment, because you're never going to be able to go back. It's a lot of fun. And there's an overarching magical situation that the world is in peril and her parents are trying to deal with this situation. And of course she gets caught up in it as well. It's very charming. The art is gorgeous. Like I said, as you can tell by the covers, Aki Irie has some pretty phenomenal art, and it's very distinctive. You can tell that this is her art by the character designs. It's just really, really sweet. And the covers are just phenomenal. I am so impressed. Aki Irie has become one of the mangaka that I'm watching very closely, because Go With the Clouds North by Northwest as well, that's one of my favorite things that's ongoing right now. And I kind of like that one better than Ron in the Grey World, but this is still really, really good, solid series. Most of it, I think, finishes up in volume 6, and then volume 7 is some other, like, wrapping up the story a little bit more with, like, short stories about some of the other characters. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. There was a point around volume 5 and 6 that I got a little bit confused, but I think that was more my fault for how slowly I was collecting them, because I got these first few and read them all immediately, and then I didn't buy the last few for a while, and then so I kind of forgot kind of what was happening, and that was at the climax of the story, so I think that was my fault, but I'd have to do a reread to make sure it wasn't actually a very confusing situation. I think it was just that it had been a while since I'd read the previous volume and couldn't remember what exactly had happened. But yeah, I like stories like this that focus on enjoying where you're at and growing up. It is very much a coming of age sort of story for this young girl, and it's just so cute. It made me happy while I was reading it, and it was adorable. Highly recommended. I will reread this for sure, and even like I sometimes just take these covers out to look at them because they're so cool, and I see something new every time because there's so much going on them that you just don't catch everything, and sometimes I find like a little character I didn't notice before or whatever. But yeah, and then even onto the French flaps, the cover art continues onto the French flaps as well, which is always fun. Yeah, beautiful releases, beautiful story, short and sweet at 7 volumes. It's not going to break the bank or anything, or take too much of a time commitment. But yeah, if you've read Ron in the Grey World, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. If you've read both this and Go with the Clouds North by Northwest, I'd love to hear which one you're kind of enjoying more. But yeah, thanks for watching.